Artist Colleen Browning played an important role in America's contemporary realist movement in the 1950s. She was well known on the American art scene for several decades, and now Fairfield University is celebrating her career with two exhibits of her own. Joining me now to tell us all about it is Dr. Jill Deupi, the director of the Bellarmine Museum of Art at Fairfield University. Doctor, thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to join you.
First, we should talk about who Colleen Browning was.
And that's a very good question, a good place to start, because to be quite honest, even as an art historian, she wasn't particularly well known to me before one of my faculty colleagues at Fairfield University, Dr. Philip Eliasov, who authored a wonderful monographic work on the artist about 2 years ago. It was published, brought her to my attention, and it became very clear to me very quickly that this was a woman and an artist who deserved to be revisited.
She had great success early on in her career, but then almost disappeared. What happened?
Taste is what happened,
Okay.
and abstract expressionism. So if you're familiar with the work of Jackson Pollock with his famous strip paintings, that's what happened. Browning, for the whole of her career, specialized in what's called figurative art, which has the human figure in it, and also narrative art, which has a storyline or a plot, whereas these more abstract images, as I'm sure you are aware, are much more open to interpretation and are probing, you know, the unconscious or the subconscious, much more, again, open to interpretation as opposed to her work.
All right, well, let's take a look at some of her work,
Sure,
and you can
I'd be happy
explain what
to.
we're looking at.
So here she is. She was born in England in 1918, and she came to America in 1949 and stayed here for the rest of her life until 2003 when she died. This is her self-portrait. It's undated, but assuredly from the 1950s, so within the first decade of her arrival in the States. And you can see that she's quite glamorous with her auburn hair, and she's paid careful attention to her own self-presentation in this work.
Okay.
Another slightly earlier work, this is from about 1946-47. Before she came to the States, just after she finished art school, she went into stage set design. She worked for a company called the J. Arthur Rank Organization, which was quite significant in the film industry in Britain. And for 3 years, she was designing theater sets, backdrops, stage sets for them.
Wow.
So she really, learned quite a bit in those years. And this is an East Harlem scene. When she moved to America, she came with her soon-to-be husband, Jeffrey Wagner, who was also British but a professor of English, and they got married immediately and chose to live in Harlem. She would later say she had no idea that it was then considered one of the lesser neighborhoods, but they really took to it like ducks to water, as they say. And she was painting scenes that she saw there.
Oh, really?
And we now flash forward to, again, reiterate the point that she painted what she knew. Still in New York City, of course. This is a New York City Subway car, 1977. So she had a press pass. She spent a lot of time down in the tunnels looking at the cars, photographing them, and really familiarizing herself with the graffiti art that was down there and the people that rode the trains. Those are people that you can see through those round windows. Okay. And again, we jump forward 2 decades. This is about 6 years before her death. This is called Son and Her Daughters. And it is, again, a very, very apt reminder that she painted what she knew. She painted the people that she would meet in her encounters in Harlem and elsewhere, and was very interested in distinct ethnic types. And I think the umbrella was very interesting because she had a whole series of umbrella paintings from the 1970s as well.
All right, let's just put the information up on the screen. Where can we see all of this?
You need to come to Fairfield University's campus. We have 2 wonderful facilities, the Bellarmine Museum of Art and the Thomas Walsh Gallery, which is part of the Quick Center, our Performing Arts Center. And both shows will run for 2 months from this Thursday through March 24th.
All right, Dr. Jill Deupi, thank you so much for all the information.
My pleasure.
And stay with us, more Connecticut Style after the break. We'll be right back.